Hidden within these pages lies a sacred truth that has shaped the lives of mystics, sages, and creators across the ages. This is not mere philosophy, it is the law of creation, the unseen force that molds thought into form, desire into destiny. As you listen, you will remember the ancient power that has always been yours, the power to manifest your world from the inside out. The question is, are you ready to reclaim it? Introduction: The ancient law of creation. Hidden within the chambers of your being lies a secret so profound, so absolute, that it has been whispered across millennia, carried in the silent breath of sages, encoded in the sacred scrolls of forgotten civilizations, and woven into the very fabric of the cosmos. This secret is not hidden from you, beloved listener, but for you, waiting for the precise moment when you are ready to remember, when the veil thins and your soul stirs awake. That moment is now. As these words pour into your consciousness, you stand at the threshold of remembering the law that governs all creation. The law that shapes worlds not from the outside, but from the deep furnace of your inner realm. This is the law of creation. Manifest your world from the inside out. This is not a tale of mere wishful thinking. This is not a hollow chant into the void. What you hold in your hands, what you hear resonating through the sacred chambers of your mind, is an ancient, living principle that has shaped the empires of kings, carved the destinies of sages, and awakened the latent power in those bold enough to wield it. The law of creation is the eternal truth that your inner world is the blueprint from which all external reality unfolds. What you assume to be true in the silent sanctuary of your mind must, by universal decree, take form in your outer world. It is the law as constant as gravity, as inevitable as the sun's rising, as faithful as the rhythm of the tides. For too long, you have been taught to gaze outward, to bow before circumstance, to believe that reality happens to you. But the masters of old, the quiet architects of destiny, understood the deeper order. They knew the mirror of the world reflects not what is, but what has been assumed, believed, and accepted within. You have been taught to pray to the skies for change, but the true altar is within. And now, you are invited to reclaim your rightful place as the architect of your reality, to awaken the creative power that has always been yours, waiting patiently in the shadows of forgotten knowing. There is a sacred chamber within you, a space where thoughts are more than whispers, where beliefs are not passive musings, but the active architects of your world. And here, within this space, lies the law of assumption, the keystone of creation, the golden thread that connects the invisible to the visible. This law does not respond to the fleeting wishes that dance upon the surface of your mind, but to the deep convictions rooted in the fertile soil of your inner being. What you assume, with feeling, with certainty, must appear in your reality, not because the universe judges you, but because the universe is your, reflecting back the song you hum beneath your breath, the beliefs you carry when no one is watching, the truth you embody when the world grows silent. This is your moment of remembrance. Your circumstances, as they stand now, are not fixed. They are reflections of past assumptions, the echoes of beliefs you once held as unchangeable truths. But the future? It is unformed clay, awaiting the shape of your inner dialogue, the touch of your conscious creation. And this audiobook, this sacred journey, will guide you into the inner sanctum where true creation begins. It will take you by the hand, chapter by chapter, unveiling the ancient truths that once shaped empires, that still govern the stars, that lie dormant within you. The law of creation is not a distant force. It is not reserved for the mystics alone. It is the essence of your being, the quiet rhythm of your breath, the pulse behind your thoughts. You are standing at the gateway to the forbidden garden of your own power, where the fruit of manifestation awaits not through effort but through assumption, through the steady certainty that what you imagine is already yours. This is not about earning your desires, it is about aligning with them, knowing that the universe conspires to bring forth what you assume as true. And yet, I ask you now, were you ready? Are you willing to shed the skin of limitation, to lay down the armor of doubt, to step into the sacred circle of your own power? For once you cross this threshold, there is no going back. Once you know, you can never unknow. Once you awaken, the dream of powerlessness crumbles beneath your feet. This journey will not ask you to seek outside yourself, but to turn inward, to listen to the quiet whisper of your own voice, the voice that shapes the cosmos. You will learn how to speak the language of assumption, how to embody the self-concept that aligns with your deepest desires, how to command reality not through force, but through faith. You will uncover the sacred mechanics of inner dialogue and learn to rewrite the script that has bound you to old stories. The law of creation is not a trick, not a fleeting manifestation technique. It is the divine order that governs all things. And when you learn to wield it consciously, you step into the dance of the gods, the rhythm of the cosmos, the song of the universe. Let us walk this sacred path together. Let us unearth the timeless wisdom that has always been within you. Let us strip away the illusion of separation between your thoughts and the world you walk through. For you are the creator, the sculptor, the architect of your reality. And now it is time to reclaim that knowing. The door is open. The ancient law awaits. The universe is listening. Chapter 1. The Seed of Assumption, Planting Reality from Within. There is a moment in every soul's journey when the veil is pulled back, and the seeker discovers the simplest and most astonishing truth, that all things, seen and unseen, were first born in the invisible soil of belief. Long before the manifestation, before the form, before the evidence, there was the assumption, quiet, uncelebrated, often unconscious. Yet that invisible seed, planted in the fertile womb of imagination and nourished by emotion, is the genesis of all creation. The worlds you have walked through, the victories, the losses, the loves, the longings, each one was first a whisper in the sanctuary of your inner world. And so, the sacred law begins not with effort, not with striving, but with the act of assuming it is already done. The story is told of a woman named Amara, who lived in a coastal village where the winds carried the scent of salt and jasmine, and the people spoke of fate as though it were written in stone. Amara was born to a family of fishermen, and from her earliest days, she was taught that her life would follow the tide's predictable, humble bound to the sea. But within her heart, a different tide stirred. She dreamt of creating music that would echo beyond her village, that would carry her voice across oceans and time. Yet each time she spoke of her dreams, she was met with laughter cloaked in concern. "It is not your path," they said. "You must accept what you've been given." And so, for years, she sang only to the sea, composing melodies that vanished with the wind. One evening, as the sun melted into the horizon, casting gold upon the waves, Amara sat on the shore and asked aloud, "What if I chose to believe?" The sea was silent, but within her, something shifted. That night, she made a vow, not to try, not to hope, but to assume. She began to live as though her songs had already reached the ears of the world. In the stillness of morning, she wrote lyrics as though commissioned by great orchestras. In the marketplace, she walked with the posture of someone whose music had already been heard and loved. She no longer waited for permission, she assumed it was already given. Weeks passed, and her outer world remained unchanged. But her inner world, oh, how it bloomed. And then, a traveler arrived, passing through the village. He overheard Amara singing to herself near the docks, unaware she was being heard. Moved to tears, he asked her to sing again and recorded her voice. He was a producer from a distant city, and within months, Amara's music found its way into hearts and homes far beyond her birthplace. The village watched in awe, attributing her rise to chance. But Amara knew this was no accident. This was the fruit of a seed long planted, watered daily by assumption, rooted in unwavering belief. You see, assumption is not fantasy. It is a divine act of creation. When you assume a thing to be true with conviction, your subconscious accepts it as reality, and the universe rearranges itself to reflect that truth. It is not a matter of if, it is a matter of when. This is not about wishing or begging, nor is it about manipulating reality through force. It is about becoming the version of yourself who already has what you desire, and living from that state not to impress, not to prove, but to align. Every thought you repeat, every feeling you rehearse, every inner dialogue you entertain, they are all seeds. Most people are unaware of what they are planting. They speak of their limitations as facts, not knowing they are crafting the walls of their own confinement. They say, "I never get the opportunity," and so they don't. They believe they are overlooked, and reality faithfully fulfills that belief. But you are awakening now. And in this awakening, you reclaim your sacred role as the planter of seeds and the sower of destiny. The law of assumption teaches that you do not wait for reality to show you a new possibility. You assume the new possibility and reality follows. This is not delusion, this is creation. You do not water a seed and then dig it up every morning to check if it has sprouted. You water it because you know it will. You trust the process, even when the soil appears unchanged. That is assumption. That is faith married to inner vision. That is the energy the universe responds to with precise mathematical perfection. What you assume about yourself is what you command to be reflected back to you. If you assume you are unlucky, overlooked, unworthy, you are speaking creation into motion. But if you dare to assume that you are chosen, guided, and worthy beyond measure, the universe has no choice but to comply. It is law, ancient and unbreakable. Just as gravity does not ask for your belief to pull you downward, the law of assumption does not require your understanding to shape your world. It simply is. The only question is, are you using it consciously or unconsciously? Amara did not beg the sea to change. She changed the song within her. And so too must you. Choose a desire, something your heart whispers for when the world grows quiet. Instead of yearning, assume it is already yours. See yourself as already having it. Walk, speak, and think from the version of you who has already received it. If doubts arise, do not fight them. Gently return to your assumption like a mother returning to her child. This is not a race. This is a sacred unfolding. Do not confuse assumption with arrogance. You are not pretending. You are aligning with the truth that exists in the eternal now. Time is but a tool of unfolding. Your assumption already lives in the field of all possibilities. It awaits your conviction to become flesh. The world will reflect what you assume to be true, not because you demanded it, but because you became it. And so, we begin here with a single seed, a thought accepted as truth, a desire embraced as already done. From this one act, reality begins to bend, doors swing open, people arrive. Opportunities that once hid in the shadows begin to gleam in the light of your assumption. And all of this, not because you forced the world to change, but because you changed the frequency you dwell in the state. You live from the assumption you return to like breath. Find a quiet moment just before sleep, when the veil between the conscious and subconscious is thin. Close your eyes. Bring to mind a desire vision that calls to your spirit. Now, speak aloud this phrase, "It is done. I am now the version of me who has already received this." Then construct a simple scene in your imagination. one that implies your desire is fulfilled. Perhaps a friend congratulates you. Perhaps you feel the object in your hands. Keep it short, vivid, and emotionally charged. Replay this scene gently as you drift into sleep. Feel the joy. Feel the certainty. Let it become the last impression upon your mind before you cross into the dream world. This is the planting of the seed. Repeat nightly. Do not look for the sprout, trust the process. Reality is adjusting. Creation is underway. Chapter 2. The Mirror of the Mind. How your self-concept shapes the world. Before the first sunrise ever kissed the earth, before the stars spun their radiant webs across the heavens, there existed a law, a silent architect weaving the invisible into the visible. This law did not wait for permission, nor did it seek approval. It simply mirrored. And so, the truth stands. The world is a mirror, reflecting the image you hold of yourself within. Like polished glass, reality does not shape itself from the outside. It takes its form from the sacred portrait you carry in the secret chambers of your mind. This portrait is your self-concept, the living, breathing identity you assume, not only in words but in the vibration of your thoughts, the cadence of your inner voice, the feeling tone of your existence. To change the reflection, you do not scratch at the mirror. You do not wrestle with the images projected outward. Instead, you return to the painter's seat within, the artist of your self-concept. What you believe yourself to be is what you will always find staring back at you in the world outside. You may chase new circumstances, new relationships, new horizons, but if the inner concept remains the same, the scenery will shift, only to recreate the familiar. Like waves lapping against the shore, reality will return again and again, echoing the silent chant of your self-identity. Let me tell you of a man named Elias, a craftsman who lived nestled between emerald hills and winding rivers. Day by day he carved exquisite wooden figures, angels, kings, creatures of lore, each more intricate than the last. And yet, despite the beauty of his work, he believed himself unworthy of recognition. He whispered to himself, "I am just a humble man. Who would value what I create?" Though his talent shone, the world seemed blind to it. His stall in the village market sat quiet, his treasures gathering dust. One morning, as mist wrapped the earth in its soft embrace, an old traveler paused before Elias's work. With eyes bright as dawn, he lifted a carving of an angel, tracing its wings with reverent fingers. "This is the hand of a master," he said. But Elias, shaking his head, replied, "I am no master, just a simple man." The traveler's smile faded, and he returned the angel to the shelf. Weeks passed, and the same scene repeated: admiration from strangers, deflection from Elias. Until one evening, weary of his loneliness, Elias sat before his hearth and heard the quietest whisper rise within. "You see yourself as small, and so the world sees you the same." The next day, Elias chose differently. When the traveler returned, lifting the same angel, Elias met his gaze and said, "Yes, I am a master of my craft." The words felt foreign on his tongue, but true in his bones. And as the days turned, the reflection changed. His work sold, his name whispered across neighboring villages, until his carvings adorned halls he never dreamed of entering. Not because his craft improved, it had always been worthy, but because his self-concept shifted, and the world, faithful as a mirror, responded. You are no different. The self-concept you carry, the beliefs about who you are and what you deserve, creates the framework for your entire reality. If you see yourself as one who struggles, the world will present endless struggles. If you view yourself as unseen, opportunities will pass you by unnoticed. But when you rise, as Elias did, and claim the truth of your worth. The mirror shifts. The reflection cannot resist. It must match the image you hold within. The law of creation does not respond to what you wish was true. It responds to what you accept as true. And self-concept is acceptance. You do not need to fight for it. You need only to assume it. Your inner dialogue, the quiet words you speak when no one listens, are the brushstrokes painting the masterpiece of your life. If your inner voice echoes, "I am overlooked, I am unworthy, I am not enough," then reality will conspire to prove you right. But the moment you decide, truly decide, to paint a different picture, to speak a different truth, the reflection begins to change. Look not to the mirror for evidence before you begin. You do not wait for the river to reflect your smile before you smile into it. You must first become. The becoming is the act of resculpting your self-concept, moment by moment, thought by thought. This sacred work is not about inflating the ego or shouting over your fears. It is about softly, consistently, courageously choosing to see yourself through the eyes of love, of worthiness, of power. To stand in the mirror of your mind and say, "I am enough," even when the reflection has not yet caught up, and in doing so, you become the architect of the new reflection. Let me remind you of this truth. Your self-concept is fluid, malleable, like clay in the potter's hands. You were not born into a fixed identity. You are not bound by the past stories you've told yourself or the roles others have cast you into. You are free to shape yourself anew, to assume the posture of success, to carry the energy of love, to inhabit the worthiness of abundance. The mirror will follow. It must. There is no judgment in the mirror, no preference. It simply reflects. Your task is not to fix the reflection, but to adjust the image within. And this, dear listener, is where your true power lies. When you shift your self-concept, when you choose to believe in your worth, your capability, your right to joy and abundance, the universe rearranges itself to match, not as a reward, but as a law, eternal and unbroken. The master creators of old, those who shaped history and moved mountains, knew this truth. They did not beg for the world to change. They became the change. They spoke not as those seeking approval, but as those aligned with their vision. And so, the world aligned with them. And now, you are called to do the same. Sacred practice, the mirror of self-concept. Each morning, as the light breaks, stand before a mirror, not to examine flaws, but to speak creation into motion. Look into your own eyes and declare the self-concept you choose to embody. Speak not as though you hope it is true, but as though it already is. Say, "I am worthy, I am seen, I am powerful, I am loved, I am enough." Feel the words. Let them sink beneath the surface. If doubt arises, meet it with love, but return to your declaration. Do this daily, allowing the mirror to become a sacred witness to your unfolding. Over time, the reflection will shift, not only in the glass, but in the world that mirrors you back. You are the creator of your self-concept, and through that, you are the creator of your world. Chapter 3. The Voice Within. Rewriting the Inner Dialogue. There is a voice that lives within you, always speaking, always weaving stories, always shaping the fabric of your reality. It is the soft current beneath the surface of your thoughts, the silent whisper that colors how you see the world and how the world sees you. This voice is not random, nor is it innocent. It is the author of your life's narrative, the architect of your self-concept, the unseen hand scripting the scenes of your existence. And until you recognize it, until you choose to rewrite it consciously, it will continue to replay the same stories, casting you in the same roles, trapping you in the same loops. You may seek change in the outer world, but the true shift begins within, in the voice that you carry silently, moment by moment. Consider this. Every word spoken outwardly was first spoken inwardly. Every decision made was first considered in the silent dialogue of your mind. That voice, so familiar, so constant, is the soil in which your beliefs grow, the river from which your feelings drink. If left untended, it will echo the voices of your past, the doubts of others, the fears of those who raised you, the limitations of the world around you. But here, in this sacred moment, you are invited to take back the pen, to become the conscious scribe of your destiny. For when you change the voice within, you change the script of your life. Let me share the story of Nia, a healer whose gift lay in her hands, but whose heart carried the weight of a silent lie. From her earliest days, she was told she was too quiet, too soft, too invisible. Though her touch could ease pain and her presence brought peace, she believed herself to be unseen, and so the world responded accordingly. Clients came but rarely returned, sensing the doubt she carried, though unspoken. One evening, sitting alone in her small studio, she listened, not to the outside world, but to the voice within. It whispered the familiar refrain, "I am not enough. I am not heard." And in that moment, Nia made a sacred decision, not to silence the voice, but to rewrite it. Each day, before placing her hands upon another, she spoke new words within. "I am seen. I am heard. I am a vessel of healing, worthy and whole." At first, the old voice resisted, like roots tangled in the soil of her being. But she persisted, returning again and again to the new dialogue she chose to embody. Slowly, her clients began to linger, to return, to speak of the deep peace they felt in her presence. The world began to reflect her new belief, not because she changed the outer, but because she transformed the voice within. You too carry a dialogue, an ongoing conversation that never pauses, never sleeps. And that dialogue is not mere background noise. It is the command center of your life. If it hums with doubt, fear, or limitation, your reality will echo those frequencies. But if it sings with love, with power, with certainty, your world will rise to meet that song. The law of creation does not discriminate between voices spoken aloud and those whispered silently in the corridors of your mind. It responds to the dominant dialogue you carry, the one you return to again and again. This voice within is your greatest ally, or your most insidious saboteur. It can build kingdoms or trap you in invisible cages. But the beauty of it is this: you are not bound to the voice you inherited. You are not a prisoner to the stories you have told yourself. You are the author, the reviser, the voice behind the voice. The first step in claiming this power is to listen, become still. Hear the patterns that arise when you face a challenge, when you dream of more, when you stand at the edge of possibility. Does the voice say, "I can" or "I can't"? Does it sing of abundance or murmur scarcity? Does it whisper courage or cower in fear? Once you hear it, you can rewrite it, not with force, but with gentle persistence. Like Nia, you return to the new words again and again until they take root in the soil of your subconscious, until the voice within sings a new song. And as that inner melody shifts, so too does the reflection in your outer world. Imagine the difference between waking each day to a voice that says, "I am overwhelmed," versus one that whispers, "I am capable," and all unfolds in perfect timing. Feel the shift between a mind that chants, "I am not enough," and one that declares, "I am worthy beyond measure." This is not about positive thinking. This is about rewiring the very foundation of your being, crafting a dialogue that aligns with the truth of who you are, a creator, a vessel of infinite power. Remember this: The universe listens first to your inner voice. The words you speak to yourself shape your vibration, your beliefs, and your reality. You may speak love aloud, but if your inner voice shouts unworthiness, the universe will respond to the dominant vibration. This is why rewriting the inner dialogue is the sacred work of creation. It is the alchemy that transforms thought into form, assumption into reality. And so, dear listener, I invite you to step into the role of conscious storyteller. Begin not with the outer world, but with the world within. Craft a new dialogue, one that supports the vision you hold for your life. Speak to yourself as you would speak to someone you love deeply. Rewrite the words that shape your days and your dreams. And know that, in doing so, you are not just changing your thoughts, you are reshaping the mirror of reality. Sacred practice. The inner dialogue ritual. Set aside a sacred space, perhaps at dawn when the world is quiet, or at dusk when the veil between the conscious and subconscious is thin. Close your eyes and allow the voice within to speak freely. Do not judge, simply listen. Write down the dominant thoughts that arise, especially around your desires, your worth, your dreams. Identify the limiting phrases, the echoes of doubt. Then, for each one, craft a new affirmation, a phrase that aligns with your highest truth. For example, transform "I am not ready" into "I am fully prepared and capable." Transform "I always struggle" into "I move through life with ease and grace." Each morning and night, speak these new phrases aloud. Let them become the new voice within. Let them guide the rhythm of your inner dialogue until they flow through you as naturally as breath. This is how you rewrite the story. This is how you transform the reflection. Chapter 4. The Power of Unwavering Faith. There is a force, ancient as the first dawn and steady as the stars, that holds the power to shape worlds. It is not loud, nor is it boastful. It moves beneath the surface, silent and unseen, yet it is the cornerstone upon which every miracle rests. This force is faith, not the fragile hope that wavers in the wind, but the unshakable certainty that what is unseen will become seen, that what is imagined will take form, that what is planted in the dark soil of belief will break through into the light. Faith is the architect of worlds, the bridge between desire and manifestation, the energy that commands the universe to obey. But what is faith if not the willingness to stand in the midst of contradiction and still believe? To look upon the barren field and see the harvest, to walk through the valley of shadows and know the light is near, to hear the world say impossible and yet speak, "It is done." This is unwavering faith, the kind that does not bend with the winds of circumstance but holds steady, a lighthouse in the storm. And in this chapter, we will journey into the heart of faith, understanding that it is not merely a passive state but an active force, a vibration that calls forth reality from the invisible. Consider the tale of David, a builder who dreamed of crafting a cathedral so magnificent it would stand for centuries, a testament to beauty and devotion. But David was no architect, nor did he have the resources to fund such a grand vision. He was a humble man, with calloused hands and a dream that felt too vast for the world he knew. When he spoke of his vision, the people laughed gently, reminding him of his station. Yet within David burned a faith that would not be moved. Each morning, he walked the barren plot of land where the cathedral would one day rise. He traced its walls in the air, spoke aloud to the stones that were not yet laid, gave thanks for the stained glass that had not yet been crafted. Years passed, and though the land remained empty, David's faith did not falter. He worked tirelessly, setting aside coins, gathering materials bit by bit, trusting that the universe would align with his unwavering certainty. And one by one, artisans appeared. Patrons, moved by something unseen, offered their support. Stone by stone, the cathedral rose, until one day, sunlight streamed through the stained glass windows that once existed only in the sanctuary of David's faith. The world calls this a miracle, but David knew better. Faith built the cathedral, not circumstance, not resources. Faith. And so it is with you. Your faith is the blueprint. It is the energy that precedes form. The law of creation does not ask for proof. It does not wait for evidence. It waits for faith, the inner knowing that the unseen is more real than the seen, that the invisible, when believed in with certainty, must take form in the visible. This is not fantasy. It is the sacred law by which all things are made. But faith, true unwavering faith, requires courage. It asks you to stand when all around you says, "Sit," to speak of abundance in the face of lack, to feel love in the midst of loneliness, to act as if your desires are already fulfilled, even when the world reflects otherwise. This is not denial, it is creation. The universe does not respond to your circumstances. It responds to your state of being, and faith is a state, a vibration that aligns you with your desires before they appear. Let me remind you, faith is not about struggle. It is not about convincing yourself or fighting doubt. It is the gentle, unyielding knowing that what you seek is already yours in the unseen realm. Doubt may rise like waves, but faith remains the ocean beneath. You do not need to force the tides to stay calm. You simply need to rest in the deeper waters, the stillness of your belief. The masters of creation, those who moved mountains and parted seas, all understood this truth. They did not wait for evidence. They stood in faith and watched as the world aligned to meet their certainty. This is the secret that has been whispered across ages. Believe it is done, and it will be. The law of creation responds not to what you wish for occasionally, but to what you believe continuously, unwaveringly, without flinching in the face of contradiction. Faith is the soil in which the seeds of assumption grow. Without it, the seeds remain dormant. But when you water your desires with faith, the universe conspires to bring them forth. And here lies the sacred paradox. The moment you assume it is done, the universe begins its work, unseen. Your task is not to figure out the how. Your task is to hold the faith, to stay aligned with the state of being that your desire is already realized. Feel this deeply now. The universe is not withholding from you. It is responding to your faith, your certainty, your alignment. When you believe without wavering, you open the channels through which manifestation flows. This is the power that built cathedrals, that moved seas, that healed bodies and birthed nations. And it is the power that lives within you. Sacred practice, the faith embodiment ritual. Find a moment in your day, perhaps at sunrise or sunset, when the world feels still. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and bring to mind a desire that you hold. Feel it. See it as already done. Now, speak aloud. It is done. I stand in unwavering faith. Let this phrase become a mantra, a vibration that moves through your entire being. Feel the certainty, not as something you must create, but as something you are returning to, something that has always been there. Each time doubt arises throughout your day, return to this phrase. It is done. Not as a struggle, but as a gentle reminder. Faith is not a battle. It is a state of rest in the knowing that the universe is moving on your behalf. Hold this faith, unwavering, and watch as the cathedral rises. Chapter 5. Feeling is the secret. Emotion is the bridge to manifestation. In the great symphony of the universe, there exists a language older than words, more potent than thoughts. It is the language of feeling, the silent song that flows beneath every intention, the vibration that animates your desires, the force that bridges the unseen with the seen. Feeling is the secret. Not mere emotion stirred at random, but deliberate feeling, consciously evoked and sustained, is the bridge upon which your dreams cross into reality. For thought alone is a blueprint, an outline in the mind's eye. But feeling, feeling is the breath, the heartbeat, the fire that ignites the formless into form. Understand this. The law of creation responds not just to the images you hold in your mind, but to the feeling, tones that accompany them. When you feel something deeply, you imprint it upon the fertile soil of your subconscious. The universe does not respond to hollow repetition, to words spoken without heart. It responds to the feeling state you embody. And this is where the great secret of manifestation lies: to feel the wish fulfilled, to live internally from the state of your desire realized, even before the evidence appears. This is the alchemy that transmutes thought into reality. Let me tell you the story of Sophia, a woman whose heart longed for love, not the fleeting kind, but a deep, abiding connection that felt like home. For years, Sophia focused on what was missing. She recited affirmations. She visualized the perfect partner. Yet each night, she returned to her bed with an ache, a silent knowing that her desire was still unmet. Until one evening, as the moon cast silver shadows across her room, she asked herself a sacred question: what would it feel like to be loved right now? Not in the distant future, not someday, but now. She closed her eyes and imagined the warmth of an embrace, the laughter shared over quiet dinners, the comfort of knowing someone's heart was intertwined with hers. And as she felt it, truly felt it, her body softened, her breath deepened. She smiled not at a memory, but at a reality she was weaving from within. She made it her ritual each evening to feel this love, to bask in its warmth, to walk through her day as one who was already cherished. And within weeks, her outer world responded. A chance meeting bloomed into connection. And soon, the love she once sought outwardly became the reflection of what she had cultivated within. You see, feeling is the engine that drives manifestation. It is the secret ingredient that transforms the image in your mind into the experience in your life. Without feeling, visualization is hollow, a castle built upon sand. But with feeling, every image becomes alive, every thought charged with the energy of creation. The law of assumption, the sacred foundation of creation, teaches that what you assume as true will manifest. But assumption without feeling is powerless. Feeling is the fuel. When you align your emotional state with the reality you desire, you create a resonance, a magnetic pull that draws the formless into form. The universe does not hear your words, it feels your vibration, and that vibration is determined by the emotions you embody. Consider the difference between saying, "I am abundant," while feeling lack, versus saying, "I am abundant," and feeling the joy, the freedom, the ease of abundance coursing through you. The words may be the same, but the energy behind them determines what the universe mirrors back to you. This is why feeling is not optional in the art of creation. It is essential. But how do you cultivate feelings for something not yet seen? How do you feel love when you feel alone? How do you feel wealthy when your bank account says otherwise? The answer is simple, yet profound. You choose. You step into the role of creator, and you evoke the feeling as if it already exists. You imagine, not to escape reality, but to create it. You remember that the outer world is a mirror. It does not create your feelings, it reflects them. Let me offer this truth. Your feelings are not reactions, they are creations. You can summon them at will, like an artist choosing colors for their canvas. You do not need the world to give you the reason to feel joy, love, abundance. You become the source. You generate the feeling first, and the world responds accordingly. This is not delusion. It is divine alignment. The ancient teachers knew this secret well. They understood that the universe is shaped not by action alone, but by emotion, by the energy you emit. They taught that the feeling of the wish fulfilled is the key that unlocks the doors of manifestation. And so, I invite you to awaken this power within yourself. To choose the feeling state that aligns with your desires. To walk, to speak, to breathe from the place where your dreams are already realized. Not because the evidence is there, but because the feeling makes it so. The great paradox is that feeling the wish fulfilled precedes its fulfillment. When you embody the emotion, the outer world must rearrange itself to match your inner state. This is the unbreakable law. The bridge of incidents will unfold, carrying you from where you stand now to where your heart longs to be, not by force, but by resonance. Let us remember, feeling is the secret. It is the heartbeat of creation. It is the bridge from the invisible to the visible, from thought to form, from desire to reality. Sacred practice, the feeling state activation. Find a quiet space where you can sit undisturbed. Close your eyes and bring to mind a desire, something your heart longs for. Now, set aside the image and focus solely on the feeling. Ask yourself, if this were already true, how would I feel? Let the feeling arise naturally, whether it be joy, peace, freedom, love. Breathe into this feeling. Expand it. Let it fill your entire being, from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet. Sit with this state of being for several minutes, allowing it to anchor into your body, your breath, your soul. Do this daily, morning and night. This is your sacred work, to feel the wish fulfilled, to embody the state of your desire realized. And as you do, know that the universe is listening, not to your words, but to your feeling. The bridge is built. The manifestation is on its way. Chapter 6. The Sacred Act of Visualization. There is a canvas within you, vast and boundless, where all creation begins. Upon this canvas, images are painted not with brush and pigment, but with thought, with vision, with the sacred artistry of your imagination. This is not the imagination of fleeting daydreams. This is the holy ground where the unseen takes shape, where the formless becomes form, where the future is sculpted into existence. Visualization. The deliberate, focused act of seeing your desires as already complete is not mere fantasy. It is the sacred tool of the Creator, the key that unlocks the gates of manifestation. To visualize is to visit the future made present. It is to step beyond the confines of the visible world and enter the infinite realm where all possibilities reside. And here is the truth, whispered by sages and seers. What you can vividly imagine with belief and emotion must eventually take form in the physical world. This is not wishful thinking. It is the law of creation at work. For the universe itself is born from vision, from thought infused with feeling, from the unseen blueprint held in the mind of the divine. Let me tell you of Isaac, a farmer in a parched land where rain had not kissed the earth for many moons. His crops withered, his well ran dry, and the village spoke only of famine. Yet Isaac, each morning before the sun crested the hills, stood in his barren fields and saw the harvest. He closed his eyes and visualized the golden wheat swaying beneath the breeze, the rich scent of earth moist with rain. He imagined his hands gathering the bounty, felt the gratitude in his heart as though the harvest had already come. His neighbors watched with pity, for the skies remained clear and the soil cracked beneath his feet. But Isaac knew something they did not. He knew that the harvest begins in the mind long before it touches the land. Weeks passed, and then, as if the heavens themselves bent to his vision, clouds gathered. The rains came, soft at first, then steady. His fields, once barren, blossomed. The harvest arrived, abundant beyond measure, and the village called it luck. But Isaac smiled, for he knew the truth. The harvest was first sown in the soil of his imagination. So it is with you. Your visualization is not a passive act. It is the first step of creation. When you hold a vivid image in your mind, when you infuse it with feeling and faith, you create a blueprint that the universe moves to fulfill. The clearer the image, the stronger the blueprint. The more you feel it, the faster the manifestation. But here lies the sacred art. Visualization is not about seeing to believe, it is about believing to see. You do not wait for the outer world to show you evidence before you allow yourself to see the vision in your mind's eye. You choose to see it first, to visit it daily, to dwell within it as though it already exists. And as you do, the world outside bends to the vision within. This practice, ancient as the stars, was known to the builders of pyramids, the architects of empires, the dreamers who shaped the world. They understood that the imagination is not a place of idle fancy but the womb of creation. What is held in the mind, again and again, with clarity and emotion, must take form. But how vivid is your vision? How clearly do you see the life you wish to live? Do you paint it in broad strokes? Or do you trace every detail, every color, every sensation? The universe responds to the precision of your visualization. If your image is blurred, the manifestation will be blurred. But when you hone the vision, when you see it as real, as alive, as already yours, the universe aligns to make it so. Consider this: an architect does not begin building without a blueprint. The vision must be detailed, clear, complete, before the first stone is laid. So it must be with your desires. Your visualization is the blueprint. It is the sacred design from which the universe constructs your reality. But remember, visualization is not enough on its own. The image must be infused with feeling. You must feel yourself within the vision, alive within it, breathing within it. The scene in your mind must become more real than the world around you. It must pulse with life, with energy, with certainty. And as it does, it begins to draw the invisible threads of reality into form. Do not limit your visualization to grand, sweeping moments. Include the subtle details. Feel the texture of the clothes you wear in your imagined scene. Hear the sounds that surround you. Smell the air. Taste the joy. Touch the success. The more senses you engage, the more alive the vision becomes. And the more alive it is within, the sooner it appears without. Understand this. The universe moves in images. The language of creation is visualization. It is the sacred act of planting the seed in the soil of your subconscious, where it takes root, grows, and blossoms into form. This is the unbreakable law. What you see within, again and again, must appear without. Sacred practice. The visualization ritual. Set aside time each day, preferably at dawn or dusk, when the veil between the conscious and subconscious is thin. Sit in stillness, close your eyes, and bring to mind a scene that implies your desire is already fulfilled. Keep it simple but vivid. A moment that would occur if your wish were true. Engage all your senses. See the colors, hear the sounds, feel the textures, smell the air. Most importantly, feel the emotions, the joy, the gratitude, the peace of having your desire realized. Hold this scene in your mind, replaying it like a sacred film. Let it become alive within you. Do this daily, without strain. Let the visualization be a place of joy, a retreat where your soul visits the future made present. Trust that each time you enter this vision, you are building the bridge upon which your desire will cross into reality. The blueprint is drawn, the foundation is laid, the universe is building. Chapter 7. Surrender and the Flow of Divine Timing. There is a current that moves beneath all things, a sacred rhythm, a flow that carries the seed to blossom, the night to dawn, the dream to fruition. This current is the flow of divine timing, and to manifest in harmony with the universe, one must learn the art of surrender. Surrender is not resignation, nor is it passive waiting. It is the active trust that once you have planted the seed through thought, feeling, and visualization, the universe will bring it to harvest in perfect time, in perfect form, in perfect unfolding. Surrender is the letting go of how and when your desire must appear, allowing the infinite intelligence that governs all life to orchestrate the details beyond your limited sight. Consider the ocean's tide. It does not resist the moon's pull. It flows. It does not demand the exact moment the wave must break upon the shore. It moves in harmony with the cosmic dance. So too must you move with the flow of divine timing. The moment you release the need to control the specifics of your manifestation, you step into alignment with the greater wisdom that knows the most elegant path to your desire. And often, this path is one you could not have foreseen, one that unfolds with a grace that surprises you, one that brings your dreams in forms far richer, far more beautiful than your mind could conceive. Let me share the story of Amir, a sculptor who dreamed of displaying his work in the grandest galleries. He poured his soul into his creations, shaped stone into life, and sent letters to galleries far and wide. But each reply was a polite refusal. Each door seemed closed. Frustration grew in Amir's heart, and with it came the voice of doubt, whispering that his work was unworthy, that his dream was out of reach. One evening, weary of struggle, Amir walked along the riverbank and watched the water glide effortlessly over stones. He realized that while he had done all he could, he had resisted the flow. He had tried to force the timing, to dictate the how, and so, standing by the river, he whispered a new vow, not to give up but to let go, to trust that the universe, like the river, knew the way. From that day, Amir continued his work, but with a heart open to the unknown. He created for the love of creation, detached from the outcome. Weeks later, a traveler passed through his village, saw his sculptures displayed in the open air, and was moved to tears. This traveler happened to be a curator for a prestigious gallery, and soon Amir's work graced walls he had once only imagined. The invitation did not come through the channels Amir had tried to control. It came through the flow of surrender, through divine timing. You see, the law of creation requires action, belief, visualization, but it also requires surrender. The act of releasing the how and the when is not giving up. It is giving over to the greater intelligence that governs all life. It is trusting that the seed knows how to become the tree, that the caterpillar knows how to become the butterfly, that your desire, once planted, knows how to find its way to you. But surrender is not always easy. The mind craves control, craves certainty. It wants to know the steps, the timing, the route, and yet, the greatest manifestations often come through paths unknown, through channels unexpected. The mind cannot see the whole picture. It sees only a fragment. But the universe sees all, knows all, orchestrates all. When you surrender, you allow this higher wisdom to guide the unfolding. Consider the farmer who plants the seed. He does not dig it up each day to check its progress. He trusts the process, waters the soil, and lets the divine timing do its work. So, too, must you plant your desire, nurture it with belief and feeling, and then release it into the hands of the universe. Trust that the harvest will come, not always when you expect, but always when it is right. And here lies the paradox. Surrender accelerates manifestation. When you release the tight grip of control, you remove the resistance that slows the flow. You open the channels for the universe to deliver your desires in ways beyond your imagination. This is the dance of creation. To act, to believe, to feel, to visualize, and then to surrender. To trust the current of life, knowing that it moves with precision, with grace, with perfect timing. Let me offer this truth. The universe is never late, nor is it early. It is always right on time, and your task is not to force the timing, but to align with the trust that the timing is perfect. When doubt arises, as it will, return to this trust. Remind yourself that all is unfolding as it should, that the invisible forces are working on your behalf, weaving the tapestry of your desire into form. Surrender does not mean doing nothing. It means doing what is yours to do, holding the vision, embodying the feeling, taking inspired action, and releasing what is not yours to control. It means stepping back and allowing the infinite intelligence to work its magic. The river knows the way to the ocean. The seed knows the way to the bloom. Your desire knows the way to you. Sacred practice, the surrender ritual. Choose a quiet space, perhaps near water if you can, to symbolize the flow of life. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and bring to mind a desire you have been holding tightly, one you have tried to control. Feel the weight of this desire, the strain of trying to force its arrival. Now, with a deep breath, imagine releasing it. See yourself placing this desire into the river of life, trusting that the current will carry it to the perfect destination. Speak aloud. I surrender this desire to divine timing. I trust the universe to deliver it in the perfect way, at the perfect time. Feel the release, the lightness that follows. Return to this practice whenever you feel the grip of control tighten. Let it remind you that surrender is the gateway to alignment, the opening through which the universe flows. Chapter 8. The energy of alignment, tuning to the frequency of your desire. In the great orchestra of existence, every thought, every feeling, every being vibrates with a unique frequency. The stars sing in frequencies beyond human hearing, the earth hums in rhythms beneath your feet, and you too emit a signal, a vibration that whispers to the universe, echoing your state of being. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, responds not to your words alone, not to the outer appearances, but to this frequency, the invisible song that radiates from your heart and mind. And so, to manifest with power, to bring your desires into form, you must align your energy to the frequency of that which you seek. You must tune yourself like an instrument to resonate with the song of your desire. This is the art of alignment, the sacred practice of becoming the vibrational match to what you wish to receive. Imagine for a moment a radio. The station you wish to hear is always broadcasting, yet unless your receiver is tuned to the precise frequency, the music will remain unheard. Static will fill the space where melody could be. So it is with your desires. The life you long for already exists, vibrating at its own frequency. Your task is not to create it, but to align with it. To become so attuned to the energy of your desired reality that it flows to you effortlessly, naturally, like a magnet drawing iron to its core. Let me share with you the story of Layla, a weaver who dreamed of sharing her intricate tapestries beyond the boundaries of her village. Her creations told stories through thread and color, tales of love, of triumph, of the cosmos itself. Yet, despite her skill, her work remained unseen by the wider world. She marketed, she worked tirelessly, but something invisible held her back. Until one day, an elder visited her workshop and spoke of energy alignment. "You must become the woman who already shares her work with the world," he said. "You must feel her joy, stand in her certainty, walk in her grace. Only then will the world reflect it back." Layla, though skeptical, began to shift her inner world. Each morning, She embodied the feeling of success. She walked through her village as though her tapestries already hung in distant halls. She spoke of her work with the confidence of one already recognized, and slowly, the outer world mirrored her inner shift. A traveler from a faraway city stumbled upon her workshop, enchanted by her art, and soon her creations adorned homes across the seas. Layla did not force the change, she aligned with it. She tuned her energy to the frequency of her desire, and the universe responded in kind. So it is with you. Alignment is not about striving or effort. It is about tuning your inner state to match the energy of what you desire. To manifest abundance, you must feel abundant, not in response to wealth, but as the generator of it. To attract love, you must radiate love, not in reaction to another, but as the source. The law of creation responds to your state of being, to the vibration you emit. And when you align with the frequency of your desire, you become the attractor, the lighthouse drawing the ships to your shore. But how do you tune your energy? How do you align when the world around you sings a different song? The answer is simple. You choose. You choose your focus, your thoughts, your feelings. And through that choice, you shift your vibration. The outer world may reflect lack, but you can still tune to abundance. The environment may echo loneliness, but you can still align with love. This is not denial. This is creation. You are not at the mercy of circumstances. You are the generator of your frequency. Every moment, you emit a signal, and every moment, you have the power to shift it. When you choose gratitude, you align with abundance. When you choose joy, you align with freedom. When you choose love, you align with connection. The key is consistency, not perfection, but the continual return to the frequency of your desire. Like tuning a stringed instrument, you may drift out of tune, but with gentle adjustment, you can always return. Let me remind you, the universe responds to your dominant vibration. It reflects back not the fleeting thoughts, but the sustained frequency, the energy you inhabit most often. When you live in the state of your desire, when you feel it, speak from it, act from it, you become the beacon that draws it forth. This is the essence of alignment. And here lies the beauty. The energy of your desire is already within you. You need not seek it outside. You only need to activate it, to recall how abundance feels, how love feels, how freedom feels, and to dwell in that state. The universe cannot resist this alignment. It must respond. It must match. This is the immutable law. Sacred practice. The energy alignment ritual. Each morning, before the world's demands pull you into their rhythm, find a quiet space. Close your eyes and bring to mind your desire. Ask yourself, what is the frequency of this desire? Is it joy, peace, confidence, love? Now, choose to feel that frequency. Breathe into it. Expand it through your body. Speak aloud. I align with the energy of my desire. I am its match. I am its home. Throughout your day, return to this feeling. When circumstances challenge you, pause and retune. Remember, you are the generator of your vibration. And as you maintain alignment, the universe will respond as surely as the radio tunes to the station. The song of your desire plays always. Tune yourself and listen. Chapter 9. Repetition and the Rewiring of Reality. There is a power in the quiet hum of repetition, a force as steady as the ocean's waves, as constant as the turning of the earth beneath your feet. In the grand architecture of creation, repetition is the builder's tool, the sculptor's chisel, the steady hand that shapes the unseen into the seen. It is not the grand gesture, nor the single moment of inspiration that transforms your life. It is the consistent return, the daily tending of the inner garden, the repeated sowing of the seeds you wish to harvest. Just as the tides shape the shores over time, so too does repetition carve the pathways of your mind, rewiring your reality from the inside out. The law of creation responds not only to what you think once, or feel occasionally, but to what you affirm again and again. The beliefs you return to, the images you hold, the feelings you rehearse, over and over, until they settle deep into the fertile soil of your subconscious. The subconscious mind does not discriminate between what is true and what is false. It accepts whatever is impressed upon it consistently. And the universe, in turn, responds not to what you occasionally think, but to what you habitually believe. Consider the story of Maya, a teacher who longed to speak with confidence before her students. She knew her material, yet her voice trembled, her hands shook. She told herself, "I am not a good speaker." And the universe, ever faithful, echoed that belief back to her. One day, a mentor shared with her the power of repetition, that to change the outer reflection, she must reprogram the inner dialogue. And so, each morning, Maya stood before the mirror, her voice firm, her gaze steady, repeating, "I am a powerful speaker. My words flow with ease." At first, these words felt foreign, hollow, but she persisted. Day after day, she returned to them, not out of force, but as a sacred ritual. Weeks passed, her voice began to steady. Her confidence grew. The words that once felt like strangers became familiar, then true. And soon, the outer world reflected the new inner reality. Her students leaned in, inspired by her clarity, moved by her presence. Maya did not force this change in a single day. She repeated it into being. She rewired her reality through the steady rhythm of repetition. So it is with you. Repetition is not a sign of weakness, it is the pathway to mastery. Every belief you hold now, whether empowering or limiting, was formed through repetition. Words spoken to you, thoughts repeated silently, feelings rehearsed again and again, until they became the lens through which you view the world. But the beauty of this truth is that you can rewrite those beliefs. You can choose new thoughts, new feelings, new affirmations, and through consistent repetition, impress them upon your subconscious until they bloom into your reality. Understand this, the subconscious mind learns through repetition. It is like fertile soil, ready to accept whatever seeds you plant, but it requires the steady watering of repeated thought, feeling, and affirmation. One affirmation spoken once is a whisper in the wind. But an affirmation spoken daily, felt deeply, becomes a command to the universe. It becomes the new program from which your reality is written. But this is not about mindless repetition. It is about conscious engagement, choosing your words, your visions, your feelings with intention, and repeating them until they become your truth. When you repeat a new belief, "I am worthy, I am abundant, I am loved," you are rewiring the pathways of your mind, creating new grooves, new patterns, new reflections. And the universe, ever faithful, responds to the dominant vibration. Let me remind you of the power of the waterfall. Drop by drop, it shapes the stone beneath it, not through force but through consistency. So too does repetition shape your reality. Each affirmation, each visualization, each feeling state repeated becomes a stream that carves a new path through the landscape of your subconscious. And from this landscape, your life takes form. You may wonder why change seems slow, why the old patterns return. The answer lies in the dominant patterns that have been repeated for years, perhaps decades. But know this, every repetition of the new weakens the old. Every time you choose the new thought, the new feeling, the new belief, you strengthen the new pathway. And over time, this new pathway becomes the dominant force, the new reflection, the new reality. This is the art of rewiring. It is not about one grand moment of change, but the steady return, the daily choice to align your inner world with the reality you wish to experience. And as you do, the universe cannot help but mirror back your dominant frequency. Sacred practice. The repetition ritual. Choose one affirmation that aligns with your deepest desire. Let it be simple, clear, powerful. For example, I am worthy of love and abundance. I am a powerful creator. Everything I desire flows to me with ease. Each morning and evening, stand before a mirror. Look into your own eyes and repeat this affirmation aloud, feeling its truth resonate in your body. Speak it not as a wish, but as a declaration. Repeat it at least 10 times, allowing it to settle deep into your being. Throughout the day, return to this affirmation whenever doubt arises. Whisper it to yourself, breathe it into your cells, carry it as a mantra. Let it become the rhythm of your inner world. And as you repeat, know that you are rewiring your reality, one sacred breath at a time. The stone yields to the waterfall. So too does your reality yield to your repeated truth. Chapter 10. Symbols and the Subconscious. Crafting your inner landscape. Beyond the words you speak, beyond the thoughts you think, there exists a deeper language, a sacred tongue that bypasses the rational mind and speaks directly to the subconscious, the silent architect of your reality. This is the language of symbols, the images, shapes, patterns, and signs that hold profound meaning and communicate with the parts of you untouched by logic. Symbols are ancient keys, unlocking doors within your psyche, shifting beliefs, realigning energy, and planting seeds of new creation. They are the silent whispers that speak louder than words, shaping your inner landscape with precision and grace. The subconscious mind does not reason in words and sentences. It responds to imagery, emotion, and repetition. And among these, symbols reign supreme. A simple shape, a color, a pattern can bypass the gatekeeper of the conscious mind and sink directly into the fertile soil of the subconscious, where it begins to influence your vibration, your beliefs, your experiences. This is why cultures across time have carved symbols into stone, woven them into cloth, etched them into skin, because they understood that symbols hold power. They are not mere decorations, they are carriers of meaning, transmitters of energy. Let me share with you the story of Jalen, a merchant who once struggled with scarcity, both in his business and in his mind. No matter how hard he worked, prosperity seemed to slip through his fingers. One evening, an old traveler visited his market stall and shared with him a simple symbol of abundance, a spiral, ancient and sacred, representing the ever-expanding flow of life. "Place this where you see it daily," the traveler advised, "and feel its meaning as though it is already true." Skeptical but curious, Jalen carved the spiral onto a piece of wood and hung it in his home. Each morning, he paused before it, feeling the flow of abundance, allowing the symbol to speak directly to his subconscious. Over time, something within Jalen began to shift. His thoughts softened, his actions aligned with trust, and soon the flow of prosperity mirrored the symbolic message he had planted within. His market flourished, not because the symbol had magical powers, but because it realigned his inner landscape, awakening a new vibration within him. So it is with you. The symbols you surround yourself with, whether knowingly or unknowingly, speak continuously to your subconscious. They shape the lens through which you perceive reality, and in doing so, they shape the reality you experience. A symbol of abundance, placed where you see it daily, can remind your subconscious of the ever-present flow of prosperity. A symbol of strength can awaken dormant power within you. A symbol of love can open your heart to deeper connection. But these symbols need not come from ancient texts alone. The most powerful symbols are the ones that resonate with you personally. A feather, a shell, a piece of jewelry. If it holds meaning for you, if it stirs something deep within, it becomes a potent symbol, a beacon transmitting that energy to your subconscious. Understand this. Your subconscious mind is always listening, always receiving, and symbols are the language it understands most fluently. By consciously choosing the symbols you engage with, you can begin to craft your inner landscape, aligning it with the life you desire. Every time you see the symbol, every time you engage with it, you reinforce the belief it represents. And over time, this belief becomes your reality. Think of your mind as a garden. Words are seeds, feelings are water, but symbols are the sunlight, constantly illuminating and nourishing the growth of your intentions. When you surround yourself with symbols that reflect your desired reality, you create an environment that supports your manifestation effortlessly. But remember, symbols work through repetition and emotion. It is not enough to glance at them once and forget. You must engage with them, feel their meaning, allow them to speak to your subconscious. This is the art of crafting your inner landscape, a sacred practice of aligning your environment with your desires. Let me offer you this truth. Every object around you is either supporting or hindering your vibration. Every symbol, every image, every pattern carries energy. When you choose consciously, when you fill your space with symbols that align with your desires, you create a sanctuary of manifestation, an inner and outer world that sings in harmony with what you seek. The subconscious does not question, it accepts. It sees the spiral and remembers the flow of abundance. It sees the mountain and recalls your strength. It sees the circle and aligns with wholeness. And through this silent dialogue, your reality begins to shift. Sacred practice, the symbolic anchor ritual. Reflect on your deepest desire. What symbol, shape, or object resonates with this desire? Perhaps it's a spiral for abundance, a triangle for growth, a circle for unity, or even a personal object that holds deep meaning. Create or obtain this symbol. Draw it, carve it, wear it, place it where you will see it daily. Each time your eyes meet it, pause. Feel the meaning it carries. Speak silently or aloud. This symbolizes my alignment with, state your desire, abundance, love, strength, etc. Let the symbol become your anchor, your silent affirmation, transmitting directly to your subconscious. Over time, this symbol will become a powerful transmitter, reinforcing the vibration of your desire within, crafting your inner landscape to mirror the reality you seek. The garden of your mind is fertile. The symbols are the sunlight. Choose them well. Chapter 11. The Quantum Link: Thought, Matter, and Manifestation. Beneath the surface of all that you see, beneath the solidity of the chair beneath you, the walls around you, the ground beneath your feet, there exists a hidden realm, a world where particles dance, where possibilities swirl in infinite patterns, where reality is not fixed but fluid. This is the quantum field, the invisible fabric from which all matter arises, a field of potentiality, waiting for a single instruction, a single thought, to take shape. And here lies the sacred truth that modern science is only beginning to echo. Thought is not separate from matter. Thought shapes matter. Thought instructs the quantum field. This is the quantum link, the bridge that connects the invisible realm of mind to the visible world of form. And it is through this bridge that you, as the creator, bring your desires from the unmanifest into the manifest. The law of creation operates not only in the realm of the mystical, but in the realm of the physical. Quantum physics teaches that at the deepest level of reality, everything is energy, vibrating at different frequencies. Particles exist in a state of possibility until observed, until focused upon, until intention collapses the wave into form. In the same way, your thoughts, focused, repeated, infused with emotion, collapse the infinite possibilities of the quantum field into the specific experiences of your life. This is not metaphor, it is mechanism. It is the sacred science behind manifestation. Consider for a moment the experiments that have shown that observation alters outcome. When scientists observe particles in motion, the act of observation itself changes their behavior. Particles that could have moved in infinite directions suddenly choose a path. Why? Because consciousness interacts with matter. Your consciousness, your attention, your thoughts are not passive. They are active forces that interact with the quantum field, instructing it, guiding it, shaping it. And this field responds, not to your words alone, but to your dominant focus, to what you hold in your mind and heart with certainty. Let me tell you the story of Elena, a physicist whose mind was steeped in equations, whose life was devoted to the study of matter. Yet, despite her scientific brilliance, she struggled with the weight of limitation. Her life outside the laboratory reflected scarcity, relationships strained, finances tight. One evening, after months of frustration, she encountered a mystic who spoke of the quantum link between thought and matter. "Your mind is the greatest laboratory," he said, "and your thoughts are experiments conducted upon the field of possibility." Skeptical yet curious, Elena began to test this truth. She chose a simple intention: to experience peace. Each day, she focused her thoughts upon peace, felt it in her body, visualized it surrounding her. And slowly, the tension in her life began to ease. Conversations softened. Opportunities for rest appeared. What began as an experiment became a transformation. The scientist in her could not deny the cause and effect she witnessed, not in a laboratory, but in the laboratory of her life. You see, your thoughts are not confined within the walls of your mind. They are signals sent out into the quantum field, instructions that collapse possibilities into realities. And the field responds faithfully to your dominant signal. This is why the clarity and consistency of your focus are vital. When your thoughts waver between desire and doubt, between possibility and impossibility, the field reflects that mixed signal. But when your thoughts are clear, when your focus is consistent, when your feelings are aligned, the field cannot help but manifest that which you hold. But here is the sacred art. The quantum field does not respond to what you wish for. It responds to what you believe. It responds to what you feel is true. This is why assumption, the act of embodying the state of the wish fulfilled, is so powerful. When you assume a thing is done, when you feel it in your body, when you hold the mental image with certainty, you collapse the wave of infinite possibilities into the reality you seek. The quantum link between thought and matter is always active, always responding. Whether you know it or not, whether you believe it or not, the field mirrors your dominant vibration. Your life is the reflection of the thoughts you have focused upon, the beliefs you have entertained, the emotions you have sustained. But here lies your power. You can choose new thoughts, new beliefs, new emotions. You can redirect the signal, change the instruction, and the field will respond. Let me offer this truth. You are not a passive observer of reality. You are an active participant, a co-creator with the quantum field. And every thought you focus upon, every feeling you embody, every belief you repeat, is a directive sent into the field, shaping the matter of your life. Sacred practice. The quantum focus ritual. Choose a desire you wish to manifest. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and bring this desire to mind. See it clearly. Feel it as though it is already done. Now speak aloud. I am the observer. I am the creator. my focus collapses possibility into reality. Hold this image, this feeling state for several minutes, as if you are conducting an experiment in the laboratory of the quantum field. Know that your thought, infused with feeling, is instructing the field. Trust that the wave collapses into form. Return to this practice daily. Strengthen the signal you send. Become aware of the quantum link, the bridge between your mind and the world. And as you do, know that matter must respond, for it is the faithful reflection of the thoughts you hold. The quantum field is listening. Your thoughts are the command. Chapter 12. Synchronicities and the Dance of the Universe. There is a dance, ancient and eternal, weaving through every moment of your life, a sacred rhythm in which the universe responds, guides, and aligns. This dance is expressed in synchronicities, those seemingly coincidental moments where the right person calls just when you were thinking of them, where a door opens just as another closes, where the universe whispers in symbols, patterns, and perfect timing. These are not mere accidents. They are signposts, guiding you along the unseen pathways of creation. Synchronicities are the echoes of your vibration, the reflections of your alignment, the dance steps between you and the universe. The law of creation is not only about intention and focus, but about recognizing the responses that flow back to you. The universe is not silent. It speaks in patterns, in numbers that repeat, in unexpected encounters, in messages heard at just the right moment. These are synchronicities, the universe's way of showing that you are aligned with your desires, that the quantum field is moving, that your thoughts and feelings are interacting with the fabric of reality. Consider the story of Asha, a writer who longed to publish her first book but felt trapped in the maze of uncertainty. She had done the inner work, affirmations, visualizations, feeling the wish fulfilled, but still, no opportunities seemed to come. One morning, as she sat beneath an ancient tree, contemplating surrender, she noticed a feather drift down beside her, a symbol of freedom, of messages from the unseen. Later that day, as she scrolled absent-mindedly, a quote caught her eye. "The world is waiting for your words." She smiled, but dismissed it as coincidence. The next day, a friend shared an article about a local publisher seeking new voices. Again, Asha felt the tug of hesitation, but could not ignore the pattern. When she finally reached out, her manuscript found a home. Asha realized that the universe had been dancing with her all along. The synchronicities were not random. They were the universe's way of signaling alignment, nudging her toward action, showing that the bridge of incidents was unfolding. And so it is with you. When you align your energy, when you focus your thoughts and feelings, the universe responds, not always in the way you expect, but always with precision. The synchronicities are the echoes of your signal, the reflections of your vibration. But here is the key. You must learn to notice them, to recognize the dance steps, to trust that the universe is responding. Synchronicities often begin subtly. A repeated number, a symbol appearing in different places, a conversation overheard that speaks to your heart. The more you notice, the more they appear. Like footprints on a forest path, they guide you one step at a time along the journey to your desires. The dance of the universe is not always loud. It is a whisper, a gentle nudge. When you align with your desires, the synchronicities will increase, the dance will quicken, the signs will grow clearer. But you must remain present, aware, receptive. If you dismiss them as chance, the rhythm fades. If you honor them as sacred, the dance becomes more vivid, more beautiful. Let me offer this truth. Synchronicities are the language of alignment. They are not the cause of your manifestation, but the confirmation. They tell you that the invisible is becoming visible, that the universe is arranging the pieces, that the bridge of incidents is forming. Each synchronicity is a mirror reflecting back your inner state. When you are aligned, the dance flows. When you are resistant, the rhythm stumbles. And so, I invite you to open your eyes to the dance of the universe. Notice the patterns, the symbols, the coincidences that are not coincidences at all. Trust that these are the breadcrumbs leading you home to your desires. The universe is not silent. It speaks to those who are willing to listen, who are attuned to the rhythm. Remember this: synchronicities are evidence that you are connected to the whole, that your desires are not separate from the universe, but are part of its sacred unfolding. Each sign, each moment of alignment, is a reminder that you are co-creating with the infinite intelligence, that your thoughts are shaping reality, and the universe is responding in kind. Sacred practice, the Synchronicity Journal. Each day, set the intention to notice the synchronicities around you. Carry a small journal or keep a note in your phone. Record the symbols, the numbers, the chance encounters, the unexpected messages that speak to you. Do not dismiss anything as too small. Trust that every sign is part of the dance. At the end of each day, reflect on these moments. Ask yourself, what is the universe showing me? How are these signs guiding me toward my desire? Allow the synchronicities to strengthen your faith, to reaffirm your alignment. Over time, as you cultivate this awareness, the dance of the universe will become more vivid, more alive. The rhythm is always there. The universe is always dancing. Your role is to listen, to trust, to move with the flow. Chapter 13. The Embodiment of Worthiness. Receiving as a Sacred Act. At the heart of every desire, beneath every wish for love, abundance, health, or joy, there lies a single question whispered in the quiet corners of your soul. Am I worthy to receive? This question is not always spoken aloud, yet it echoes beneath the surface, shaping your vibration, coloring your manifestations, determining the flow of what you allow into your life. The universe, infinite and abundant, is always ready to give, but the flow of receiving depends on the vessel, on you. And if the vessel is closed, if the walls are built high with doubts and unworthiness, the blessings remain at the gate. Receiving is not passive. It is a sacred act, a declaration that you are open, that you are worthy, that you accept your place in the great circulation of life. The law of creation is not merely about asking or imagining. It is about allowing. And allowing requires that you stand in the truth of your own worthiness. The universe does not withhold blessings. It does not choose some and deny others. It simply responds to the state of being that you embody. If you believe, deep down, that you are unworthy, no amount of asking or visualizing can override that signal. But when you embody worthiness, when you become the receiver, the floodgates open. The blessings that have always been ready flow freely into your experience. Consider the story of Sienna, a healer whose gift lay in her hands but whose heart carried the weight of self-doubt. She longed to serve more, to expand her reach. Yet every time an opportunity arose, she hesitated. She undercharged for her work, dismissed compliments, and quietly questioned her value. Her outer world reflected this inner state. Clients were scarce, finances strained. One evening, her mentor shared a simple yet profound truth. The universe can only give to the extent that you allow yourself to receive. Sienna realized that the block was not in the giving, but in the receiving. She could give endlessly, but she had closed herself off from receiving in equal measure. And so, she began a new practice, not of doing more, but of embodying worthiness. Each morning, she stood before a mirror, placed her hands over her heart, and spoke, "I am worthy to receive. I am open to the blessings of life." Slowly, the barriers softened. She raised her prices with love. She accepted compliments with grace, and soon, the flow returned. Clients arrived, opportunities expanded, and abundance flowed, not because she chased it, but because she allowed it. So it is with you. Receiving is a sacred act, a state of openness that says, I am ready, I am worthy, I accept. The universe responds to this openness. It fills the space you create. But when you close yourself off with doubt, with guilt, with shame, you create walls that the blessings cannot pass. Worthiness is not something you earn, it is something you embody. It is not granted by others or measured by your achievements. It is the birthright of your existence. Let me remind you, you are worthy because you are. You are a spark of the infinite, a vessel through which the universe experiences itself. To believe that you are unworthy is to deny the very nature of life. The tree does not question its worthiness to receive sunlight. The ocean does not question its right to be filled. Why then should you? But this embodiment of worthiness is not always easy. Old patterns, past wounds, limiting beliefs may whisper otherwise. They may tell you that you must struggle, that you must prove yourself, that you must wait for permission. But here is the sacred truth. You are the only one who can grant yourself permission to receive. No one else holds that power. The act of receiving is an act of self-love, a recognition that you are a co-creator in the flow of life, and life flows in giving and receiving, inhalation and exhalation ebb and flow. To give without receiving is to disrupt the balance. To receive is not selfish, it is the completion of the cycle. It allows the universe to give, to flow, to bless. Understand this. Receiving expands you. It stretches your capacity to hold more, to give more, to be more. When you embody worthiness, you open yourself to the fullness of life, to the abundance that has always been waiting at your door. You do not need to beg for it, chase it, or prove yourself to it. You need only open. Let me offer this image. You are a cup, and the universe pours freely. But if the cup is turned upside down, no amount of pouring can fill it. The embodiment of worthiness is the turning of the cup, the opening to the flow. And once you turn that cup upright, the universe does not trickle, it overflows. Sacred practice. The Worthiness Declaration Ritual. Each morning, stand before a mirror. Place your hands over your heart and speak these words aloud. I am worthy to receive love, abundance, and all the blessings life has for me. I am open, I am ready, I allow. Feel these words as truth. Let them sink beneath the surface, into the core of your being. Whenever resistance arises, whenever doubt whispers, return to this declaration of worthiness. Remind yourself that receiving is sacred, that you are not separate from the flow of life, but an essential part of it. With each repetition, the walls soften, the gates open, and the blessings flow. Chapter 14. Inspired Action. The bridge between thought and reality. In the realm of spirit, thought is the seed, feeling is the water, belief is the sunlight, but action is the hand that brings the harvest. Inspired action is not the frantic doing born of fear or desperation. It is not the mindless motion that arises from the belief that more effort equals more results. No, inspired action is the bridge between the inner world of thought and the outer world of form. It is the movement that flows effortlessly from alignment, from intuition, from the sacred space where you and the universe meet. When you plant your desires in the soil of the subconscious, when you water them with emotion and align with their frequency, the universe responds. And one of the ways it responds is by stirring within you the impulse to move, to act, to step into the unfolding. This action is not forced. It is not driven by obligation. Inspired action arises from a deeper place, from the whispers of your intuition, from the nudges of the universe. It feels light. It feels clear. It feels like the next natural step on the path of manifestation. And when you honor this action, when you follow its call, you co-create with the infinite intelligence that governs all things. The law of creation is not about sitting idle, waiting for miracles to fall from the sky. It is about becoming a participant in the dance of creation, stepping onto the bridge that connects thought to reality. Consider the story of Daniel, an artist who dreamed of sharing his work with the world. He did the inner work, visualizing, feeling, aligning, but the outer world seemed silent. One morning, as he walked through the marketplace, he felt an impulse, a soft nudge to speak to a vendor displaying handmade frames. The thought felt unrelated, unnecessary, even irrational. But the feeling was clear, so he acted. In that conversation, he learned of a local gallery seeking new artists. His work was soon displayed, his dream unfolding, not through force, but through following the inspired action that arose from alignment. This is the sacred art of inspired action. It is not about doing everything. It is about doing the right thing at the right time, the thing that feels aligned, that feels true, that feels like a gentle pull rather than a heavy push. The universe orchestrates the bridge of incidents, and inspired action is your part in the dance. When you feel the nudge to call someone, to take a certain route, to speak a certain word, trust that this is the universe guiding you, moving through you, arranging the path before you. But here lies the balance. Action without alignment is struggle. It is the endless effort that exhausts but produces little. And alignment without action is incomplete. It is the seed that never meets the soil. The bridge between thought and reality is built through both, through aligning your energy and then acting from that alignment. This is why inspired action feels different from forced action. It carries the energy of certainty, of flow, of ease. Let me remind you, inspired action does not always make sense to the rational mind. It may seem small, insignificant, even unrelated. But the universe sees the whole picture, the intricate web of connections, the path that leads from your desire to its manifestation. Your role is not to understand every step, but to trust the nudge, to honor the whispers of intuition. The bridge of incidents unfolds one stone at a time, and inspired action lays those stones beneath your feet. And here lies a sacred truth. You do not need to know the entire path. You only need to take the next step. The universe reveals the path as you walk it. Like a lantern lighting the way, each action illuminates the next. When you wait for certainty before moving, you remain stagnant. But when you act upon the inspired impulse, even without full clarity, you step into the flow of creation. Understand this: the universe moves with you, not for you. Your action signals your readiness. It says, I am willing, I am participating, I am co-creating. And the universe responds with momentum, with synchronicities, with opportunities. The bridge between thought and reality is not built through waiting. It is built through movement that flows from alignment. But how do you recognize inspired action? It feels different. It feels light, clear, even exciting. It feels like a yes rising from within, even when the mind doubts. It may not always feel comfortable, for it may stretch you, call you beyond your current identity, but it will feel aligned. And when you follow it, when you trust it, you honor the partnership between you and the universe. Sacred practice, the inspired action ritual. Each morning, after centering yourself in alignment, sit quietly and ask, what is the next inspired action toward my desire? Listen, feel, trust the first nudge, even if it seems small. Perhaps it's to make a call, write a message, take a walk, or simply rest. Honor the impulse. Take that step, and then let go. Do not force the next. Trust that each action opens the path for the next bridge of incidents to unfold. Throughout your day, remain open to the whispers of intuition, to the nudges of the universe. The bridge between thought and reality is built one inspired step at a time. Chapter 15. The Cycle of Completion, Gratitude and Letting Go. Every act of creation is a cycle, a sacred circle that begins with desire, blooms with belief, and culminates in fulfillment. Yet this cycle, like the turning of the seasons or the phases of the moon, is not linear. It is ever flowing, ever renewing. To create is to begin. To receive is to complete. And to release is to open again for the next wave of becoming. This is the cycle of completion, the sacred practice of gratitude and letting go, where you celebrate what has been, honor what is, and allow the next chapter of your life to unfold with grace. The law of creation is not just about holding tight to your desires, nor is it about grasping at the results. It is about knowing when to surrender, when to let go, and when to stand in gratitude for the gifts, seen and unseen, that have already arrived. Gratitude is the seal of completion. It signals to the universe that you have received fully, that you acknowledge the flow, that you are ready for the next expansion. Letting go is the final offering. It is the release of attachment, the softening of the grip, the trust that once you have planted the seed, the harvest will come in its own perfect time. Consider the story of Ayla, a gardener who tended her land with love, planting seeds each spring, nurturing them with care. But there came a season where the rains did not fall, and the crops struggled. She watered, she prayed, but still the earth withheld its bounty. One evening, standing beneath the stars, she felt the whisper of the earth itself, "Let go." And so, with a heavy but trusting heart, she released her attachment to that season's harvest. She stood in gratitude for the lessons, for the beauty of the process, for the unseen forces at work, and the following spring, her garden flourished beyond measure. You see, the cycle of creation requires both holding and releasing. To create, you must desire, believe, feel, and act. But to complete, you must give thanks and let go. Gratitude aligns you with abundance. It tells the universe that you recognize the gifts, that you are ready for more. Letting go frees the energy, removes resistance, and allows the manifestation to come forth in ways that are often beyond your imagination. But how do you let go when the desire feels so close, so precious? The answer lies in trust, in knowing that the universe heard your intention, that the field of possibility is working even when you cannot see. Letting go is not about forgetting your desire. It is about releasing the attachment to how and when it must arrive. It is the open hand, the surrendered heart, the knowing that what is yours cannot be denied. And gratitude. Gratitude is the alchemical key. It transforms what you have into enough. It multiplies the blessings. When you give thanks for the manifestations already received, for the small signs, for the synchronicities, for the lessons, even the hard ones, you align with the energy of abundance. And this alignment draws more to you. What you appreciate, appreciates. This is not a cliché. It is an ancient law. Let me offer you this truth. Gratitude closes the loop, and letting go opens the next. Together, they complete the cycle of creation. When you give thanks and release, you trust that the universe, the great orchestrator, will handle the rest. And in that trust, you free yourself from the strain, from the grasping, from the need to control. You allow the cycle of manifestation to move in its sacred rhythm. Think of the breath. You inhale, desire. You hold, belief. You exhale, release. Without the exhale, the cycle remains incomplete. Without letting go, the energy becomes stagnant. But when you release and give thanks, you create space for new life, new desires, new manifestations. This is the cycle of completion. To honor what has been, to give thanks for what is, and to release what must now move. And in this cycle, you remain forever in the flow of creation. Sacred practice, the gratitude and letting go ritual. At the end of each day, find a quiet space. Sit in stillness, place your hands over your heart, and reflect on the day. Speak aloud 3 things you are grateful for, whether they are manifestations, synchronicities, lessons, or simple joys. Feel the gratitude as a warm wave moving through your body. Then, bring to mind any desires you have been holding tightly. With a deep breath, release them into the hands of the universe. Speak. I give thanks for all that is. I release attachment to what will be. I trust the perfect unfolding. Feel the lightness that follows. Know that letting go is not the end. It is the opening. It is the space where the next cycle of creation begins. The circle is complete. The cycle flows on. Conclusion. Becoming the living embodiment of creation. You have journeyed through the sacred corridors of creation, unlocking the mysteries that have echoed through the ages. Each chapter has been a portal, a doorway opening to a deeper remembrance, a truth that was never lost, only waiting to be reclaimed. You are not separate from the universe. You are not a mere observer of life. You are a creator, a vessel through which the infinite intelligence breathes, moves, and expresses itself. You are the artist, the architect, the sculptor of your own reality, shaping the formless into form through thought, feeling, belief, and action. But these teachings are not meant to remain as words upon a page. They are meant to become alive within you, to move from theory to practice, from concept to embodiment. For the law of creation is not an external law, it is your nature. It is the very essence of who you are. To know this law is one thing. To live it, to become its living embodiment, is another. This is where your journey continues, not in study, but in being. Remember the truths that have been whispered here. Your thoughts are not mere echoes. They are commands to the quantum field. Your feelings are not fleeting. They are the fuel that ignites manifestation. Your beliefs are not fixed. They are the blueprint that reality follows. Your actions are not isolated. They are the bridges between the unseen and the seen. Your surrender is not giving up. It is giving over to the greater intelligence that guides all things. Your gratitude is not an afterthought. It is the multiplier, the signal that you are aligned with abundance. Your worthiness is not something to earn. It is something to remember. These are not separate steps, but parts of a living rhythm, a sacred dance that moves through you each day, each breath. You are always creating. Even in your inaction, even in your silence, you are broadcasting a signal to the universe, and the universe responds faithfully, consistently, to the vibration you hold. You have learned to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, to visualize with clarity, to align your energy, to recognize the dance of synchronicities, to surrender to divine timing, to take inspired action, and to release with gratitude. You have learned that creation is a cycle, an ever-renewing flow. And now, as this journey closes, the question is not whether you understand these teachings, but whether you will live them, whether you will become them. Let me offer you this final truth. You are the embodiment of the universe becoming aware of itself. Your desires are not random. They are the impulses of life seeking expression through you. They are the seeds of creation, planted in your heart, calling you to remember your power. And when you align with them, when you nurture them, when you allow them to blossom, you do not merely manifest. You fulfill your role as a co-creator. But remember, this is not a path of perfection. It is a path of practice, of returning again and again to alignment, to trust, to embodiment. When doubt arises, as it will, return to the feeling of faith. When fear whispers, return to the vision. When resistance hardens, return to surrender. And when the blessings arrive, return to gratitude. Creation is not something you do. It is who you are. It flows through your every breath, your every thought, your every heartbeat. The universe does not create apart from you. It creates with you, through you, as you. And when you recognize this, when you truly embody this, you become the living manifestation of the infinite. Take a moment now. Close your eyes. Feel the truth of this in your bones, in your blood, in your breath. You are not separate from the source. You are a vessel of its expression. And as you walk forward from this sacred space, know that you carry the power of creation within you. The journey has not ended. It has only begun. Each day is a new canvas, each thought a brushstroke, each feeling a color, each action a step in the great masterpiece that is your life. Final sacred practice, the embodiment meditation. Each morning, before the day unfolds, find a moment of stillness. Place your hands over your heart and speak these words. I am the creator of my reality. I am aligned with the infinite intelligence. My thoughts shape my world. My feelings fuel my desires. My beliefs build my life. I am worthy. I am open. I receive. I give. I surrender. I trust. I am. Feel these words vibrate through you. Let them settle deep into your being. Let this be your foundation. And from this foundation, create. Speak your desires into the world. Act from inspiration. Trust the flow. And know always that you are the living embodiment of creation. The canvas is blank. The brush is in your hand. Now, create.